Peter Parker got a radioactive spider. Bruce Banner got gamma radiation. Me? I got a gamma-irradiated clownfish named Subject 7. I walked into that aquarium a man actively disappearing into his beige cubicle existence. But after one sharp nip to the finger, I didn't get super strength or the ability to fly. I got something far more dangerous, the biological imperative to change sexes. The fluorescent lights of OptiCorp didn't just hum, they screamed at a frequency designed to liquidate the human soul. I stared at cell H42 on the spreadsheet, the cursor blinking with a mocking rhythm. It was 10:14 a.m. I had been here for 2 hours, yet it felt as though entire geologic eras had risen and fallen since I last saw the sun. "You're doing it again," a voice droned from the adjacent cube. Mark O'Connell didn't look up from his own monitor. He typed with a rhythmic, furious efficiency that meant he was likely arguing with strangers on a forum rather than working. "Doing what?" I asked, my voice cracking slightly. I cleared it, trying to sound more authoritative, more like a team lead. "The 1,000-yard stare at the pivot table," Mark said. "It's unnerving, Wally. You look like a man contemplating whether a stapler is a viable exit strategy." I sighed, adjusting my glasses. "I'm just focusing. The quarterly data entry quotas are due. If I want that promotion to team lead for Unit 7, I need to show initiative, precision, leadership." Mark finally swiveled his chair, his expression deadpan. "Wally, leading Unit 7 is like being the captain of a sinking paddleboat in a sewage treatment plant. But sure, chase the dream." He didn't get it. None of them did. It wasn't about the data, it was about order. In the ocean, everything had a place. The currents, the tides, the food chain. Here, in the beige purgatory of the suburbs, chaos reigned under the guise of bureaucracy. I craved the structure of a reef. I needed to be the one directing the school, not just another minnow drifting in the plankton. The transition from the sterile office park to the city aquarium was always a shock to the system. The air here was heavy, smelling of salt, wet concrete, and the distinct briny funk of recycled ocean water. It was my sanctuary. I bypassed the sharks and the flashy sea turtles, heading straight for the Wonders of the Pacific exhibit in the back corner. The tank was smaller than the others, glowing with an intense, almost ultraviolet blue light. A placard taped to the glass read, "Experimental, Gamma-Irradiated Bioluminescent Study. Do not tap glass." I leaned in, my nose nearly touching the acrylic. Inside, a magnificent anemone waved its purple-tipped tentacles. And there, darting aggressively among the fronds, was a clownfish. It wasn't the standard orange and white. Its scales shimmered with an iridescent, oily sheen, and its eyes seemed to track me with unsettling intelligence. "Hey there, little guy," I whispered. "Who's in charge of your tank?" The fish darted upward. It stared at me. I felt a kinship with it, trapped in a glass box, swimming in circles. Without thinking, I reached over the low, open top of the maintenance rim to retrieve a fallen brochure resting on the tank's lip. Water splashed. A flash of orange and neon green breached the surface. Snap! A sharp electric pinch seized my index finger. I yanked my hand back, gasping. The clownfish flopped back into the water with a smug splash. A single drop of blood welled on my fingertip, mixing with the glowing tank water before I wiped it on my trousers. It wasn't a shark bite, but it throbbed with a strange rhythmic heat, like a second heartbeat installed in my digit. The commute back to OptiCorp usually involved a nap or a podcast about mollusks, but today my body refused to settle. The sting in my finger had faded, replaced by a spreading warmth that crawled up my wrist and settled heavy in my chest. It wasn't unpleasant. In fact, it felt purposeful. I sat on the train, watching the gray suburbs roll by. Usually, this scenery filled me with existential dread. Today, however, I found myself analyzing the passengers. A woman in a red coat. A man eating a bagel. A teenager with headphones. Group A needs to move left to optimize the flow for Group B entering at the next station, I thought. The thought was intrusive, alien, yet undeniable. I looked at my reflection in the darkened train window. My face looked the same, round, unassuming, a bit soft around the jaw. But behind my eyes, something sharpened. The chaos of the train car didn't distress me. It presented a puzzle to be solved, a hierarchy to be established. I rubbed the Band-Aid on my finger. The clownfish had been defending its territory. It was the dominant one in that tank, the Matriarch. I straightened my spine against the grimy seat. Tomorrow, the promotion list would be posted. For the first time in my life, I didn't just hope I would get it. I felt a biological imperative that I must.
Next time on Fins and Femininity. Gravity is failing, and the office air is turning into water. Wally tries to stand tall, but his legs have other plans. The trousers are tight, the walk is a wobble, and the break room donuts are suddenly repulsive. He tells Mark he feels expansive, but that's the understatement of the century. Wally is evolving, and the cubicle farm is about to become a tank. Don't miss the moment the transformation breaches the surface. Only on the next episode.